Hello and welcome to September's social media update. I can't believe it's September already, but as usual, I've got a bunch of social media updates to tell you about, as well as some top tips on how you can improve your social media strategies, as well as some new features that are coming out from the likes of Meta and TikTok. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Alison. I run a social media consultancy called Avocado Social, which is 10 years old next year. I've worked with a wide range of businesses and brands, both in the UK and internationally. So I have a host of experience across different sectors. Do feel free to ask me any questions today. I love a good challenging question. So do feel free to ask on chat. I've got the chat window open. And I'm really happy to answer anything that crops up. So these are our key updates for September. So it's been, again, quite tricky to choose which ones to talk about this month. There've been a big Meta conference just yesterday called Meta Connect, where Facebook actually announced a number of different new features and new tools coming in the next few months. So I will be mentioning some of those, as well as some tips around SEO, what Meta Verified is all about, and also a little bit of an update on what's happening with X or Twitter, if you can get your head around calling it X yet. I know many of us are still struggling, myself included. So let's get stuck in. I wanted to start by talking about the average engagement rate. So this is a question I get asked a lot as a social media consultant, which is what are the average engagement rates I should be aiming for, particularly on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and what are the average engagement rates of my industry? Well, it's always really tricky to get that information because people don't really like to publicly share how well they're doing in social media, or maybe how not so well they're doing. But actually this week, Hootsuite have launched a brand new report. This is based on data across 13 different industries. So they've used data using their platform and seeing what kind of businesses are getting what kind of engagement rates. And these are the averages. So I think it's really useful. They've actually given us Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok here. You can download the report for free. So I'm about to put the link in the chat so you can get your hands on that. But if you just Google Hootsuite average engagement rate, the report should come to the top of Google as well. So one of the things that might surprise you here is the engagement rate is fairly low. And this is very typical of social media. You know, average engagement rates tend to be between 1% and 3% across platforms, across industries. But take a look at a few of these anomalies. So looking at the travel, hospitality and leisure industry, TikTok really seems to be the dominant platform in terms of generating engagement there. I work with a few travel and hospitality clients, and yes, I'd absolutely say that TikTok is the best platform for them at the moment. I know that we generally tend to get a lot of non-profit and charities on our social media updates, which is great. So I thought I'd include the fact that Instagram and LinkedIn are working well for these sectors as well. Not so much Facebook and not so much TikTok. Maybe that's because not many people are doing that kind of content on TikTok. And obviously their X is pretty low as well. And then also I thought I'd have a look at the food and bev sector, just because I tend to get a lot of clients there as well. So it really is Instagram that's the dominant one here. Facebook and X not performing great. The one that really surprised me was TikTok. I'd imagine that TikTok worked well in food and beverage, but perhaps this is more for restaurants that it works well for, which would be classed in hospitality. So you've got to be careful with some of these reports that come out because they do tend to miscategorize brands, or maybe, you know, you're not quite sure where your business would lie in the 13 different industry categories. It's not that clear. The other thing to alert you to here is engagement rate calculator. So they have included a calculator at the end of this blog. And this actually shows you how they're working out this engagement rate. And one of the things that actually I thought was worth flagging is that they do calculate this by the number of followers and then the number of engagements. So what they do is they'd say how many engagements you had divided by the number of followers you have. Whereas often a lot of social media platforms actually calculate based on reach. So of the people that saw this, how many people actually engaged. So there's a slightly different engagement rate that's used here, which of course could be affecting those average figures as well. So definitely a few things just to watch out for. You can't just take this figure as a solid figure that you kind of look at all the time, because there are so many factors to bear in mind that have calculated this particular score. But useful to look at all the same. I know that we like to compare ourselves against others in social media and see how other businesses in our industry are performing. So this might give you just a little bit of insight into the average rates in your industry. So that's the Hootsuite average engagement rate report, which came out over the last week. The second update I wanted to talk about today is broadcast channels. I'm sure many of you have actually been having notifications from creators saying my broadcast channel has just gone live. And you might be thinking, what is this? Well, broadcast channels are actually public, one-to-many tools for creators to use to directly engage with their followers at scale. So you can essentially send all of your followers from a creator account an update in the DMs section, letting them know kind of what you've been up to, what's going on behind the scenes. You could share voice notes, you can run polls, you can share videos, you can share photos. So it's actually a really nice, almost VIP area which creators can use to engage their audiences further and, bring them along behind the scenes in this journey. So broadcast channels have actually been around all of this year in the US, but they've just launched this month in the UK. It's the first time they've been available in the UK. As I said, they are public, so they can be discovered by anyone on Instagram, but only followers of a creator can actually join the broadcast channel. Followers that join the channel will be able to react to messages, but they can't create content in the channel. It's not like a WhatsApp group where you've got lots of different authors. They'll also not be able to send any messages in the channel. So the only way they can communicate is those little emoji reactions or voting in a poll. So it's a great opportunity for creators to be able to offer just a little bit more insight. The other thing that I would recommend doing is actually following what the leaders of Meta are doing on broadcast channels. So if I just head to the next slide here, you can see that Mark Zuckerberg actually has a Meta channel on his Instagram profile. So if you go to the profile Zuck, Z-U-C-K, which is his Instagram, he's created this channel just offering people insight into what features have gone live, what they're focused on at the moment, maybe even tagging in different creators that are worth following. And in the same vein, the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, is also running a broadcast channel called IG Updates. And this is a great channel to follow because, of course, it's, any new updates that day or that at that time are included in this update. So there's two broadcast channels I'd recommend following. So to follow a broadcast channel, you just simply go to the Instagram account of the creator you want to follow. Just underneath their bio, you can see the name of their broadcast channel and how many people are in that channel. So the Instagram CEO or the head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, has 127,000 members in his broadcast channel. And you can see he's flagging new updates, not just for Instagram, but also for Threads as well. So you can see there just last week, he was sharing the update that you can now switch between accounts when you're using Threads on mobile, which is really useful. So I've been enjoying broadcast channels, actually, just following some of my favorite creators and seeing what they're doing. So for example, Salt and Lavender, who is a brilliant chef, sharing quick and easy to follow recipes. You can join her broadcast channel to actually get the recipes. So she puts the links to all of the recipes there, which I thought was quite a nice way of using it. I follow a influencer and have done for a long time called Lily Pebbles. And you can see she's actually sharing little voice notes in her community to 10,000 people or so, which is a nice way to update her community. And then Alfie Days, you can see they're sharing links to YouTube videos as and when they go live. And then this is another influencer I follow over on the far right-hand side, called Janie Food Lover. And she reviews a lot of restaurants and bars, particularly in London. So she actually updates people and says where she's going to this week. So you can kind of keep an eye out for her content, which I thought was quite a useful thing to do. So I think your broadcast channel has to be useful. Now, I'm sure many of you are thinking, is this going to be available for business accounts? Because it currently isn't. And it's something that they're very much testing and learning from. I think it will in the future, but it certainly isn't right now. I think they're really open to the fact that this could be a great way of getting people to engage more for longer periods of time in Instagram. And certainly Instagram have identified that user behavior now is all about communicating in private channels. So I think this is a really interesting update from Instagram and maybe tells us the future of Instagram as well. So that's broadcast channels. Just from a business or brand point of view, I think it's useful just to note that you could still work with an influencer to try and get your content, your campaign, or your products mentioned in one of these broadcast channels. It's almost like podcast marketing. So you're trying to get your product maybe reviewed or mentioned, or your event promoted. So that's still something you can absolutely do. But of course, the influencer does still have to state if it is a paid for promotion, which if they don't would violate both Instagram's terms and here in the UK, the Advertising Standards Authority's terms around how to correctly label a paid promotion. So just one to keep an eye out for, but I think that would be such a huge opportunity for businesses. You know, if Lily Pebbles was recommending her favorite mascara in a voice note to her 10,000 members, that's an incredibly powerful, incredible review there that a brand could get from a creator. Okay, so we're on to trend number 3, which is Meta verified for business. So maybe you missed this update earlier in the year, but Meta brought out the option to get a verified account, which is something you have to pay for and currently is only available for creators. So there seems to be a pattern emerging here that a lot of the useful tools they're launching for creators first and then for business. And that's because they are battling it out amongst other platforms, including YouTube and TikTok, to get the best creators on their platform, because they know if they have the creators, the audiences follow. So Meta Verified is essentially a paid for subscription service that Meta brought out almost in response to X, Twitter Blue, and all of their packages that they launched earlier this year. The subscription includes probably, the most sought after thing that businesses want, which is the blue tick. So you would get a blue tick across Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp if you use it for business, which is probably, one of the main things that people are looking for. You would also get impersonation protection, which basically means if you think that you've been impersonated at any point, you basically fast track that support with Meta and they will look into this straight away. You also get access to account support. Now, this for me is a very interesting one. I mean, the amount of time I spend submitting contact request tickets to Facebook and hoping that someone's going to respond, and the number of times they don't reply, Also, they always call on like an unknown weird number if they call you. So often, if they are trying to call you, that just gets missed as well. So having access to direct account support could be incredibly powerful, particularly if you have, some complicated setup in your business. And also features to help your business stand out. So that's, to me, sounds very appealing, but we'll go on to explain exactly what that means in just a moment. So Meta has said, we'll start with a test in the coming weeks for businesses on Instagram and Facebook in select countries. So they haven't announced which countries they're going to go with yet. But usually, Europe, UK in particular, has a pretty good chance because it is such an engaged audience. And we will expand to businesses on WhatsApp in the future. Okay, so WhatsApp isn't going to be in the first iteration of the test. Let's look at pricing. So how much are they going to charge for this? Well, Meta Verified is actually available straight away at the moment in Australia and New Zealand. So people can purchase a monthly subscription for $11.99 US. That is for the creator account. And in fact, I don't have the business pricing in here. I've put the wrong price in, but I will tell you in just a moment because I was looking at this just yesterday. But it is very reasonable, actually. I think it was about £20 a month, basically, when I did the cost conversion as well. But I will get back to you in just a moment. I think when you compare that to Twitter, who are X, who are charging huge amounts for businesses to be on Blue or Premium, then Meta Verified suddenly looks a lot more appealing as well. So I think it's something that, I don't know about you, I'd certainly be willing to try it. The thing for me that kind of, I would say, stands out the most is that access to support, and also the fact that they're saying you're going to be more visible. You're going to be more visible in search. So a little bit more about that point. They have said that Instagram and Facebook subscribers to Meta Verified will be featured as a Meta Verified business, which includes appearing at or near the top of search results and appearing as a recommended verified business to follow in the feed. So that's quite interesting. They're basically going to give you more visibility within search, which I think is great. The monthly subscriptions start at $21.99, so $21.99 per Facebook page or per Instagram account. Or you can get $34.99 US for both. So $34.99. I mean, just trying to think how that compares to English money. I'll tell you, it's £28.68 to get verified on Instagram and Facebook together. So if you are a business that tends to get a lot of other businesses impersonating you, or you often need support from Meta, or you just want that blue tick credibility, then potentially this could be a really good way to go, but it's not yet available. It's currently testing. So my advice would be keep your ear to the ground on this one. So I'm still getting asked a lot about X and, what's going on. I think the most recent updates are that Musk has apparently started saying that, he's tempted to charge everyone for using the app, which I think would be a huge update. And it'd be really interesting to see what happens to users if that is the case. So currently you can become a Twitter Blue subscriber, where you're paying between $9 and $11 per month in order to get various features. As we've just spoken about, they're very similar to the Meta ones. You can pay £1,000 a month to be a business with the verification, which is just ridiculous. And interesting that, Facebook are now offering 30 quid per month verification. Is it worth it? I'm not sure. I did actually subscribe to Twitter Blue for a month to see what would happen, and I didn't really see an awful lot of benefit. But yes, Musk has obviously concluded that that's not making enough money for the app. It's not profitable still. So he's now saying he may look into charging everyone. So we'll see. You know, a lot of what he tweets, a lot of what he says doesn't actually come to fruition. So it could just be one of those rumors or a little bit of PR or just, you know, him going crazy on his X account. But there is a really useful account that I would recommend following if you have an interest in what's going on with X. You know, maybe you're looking to decide whether it's worth your business being present on the app or not. I know, well, I said this last month, but a lot of my clients have paused activity on there, or they are very much, you know, waiting to see what happens by the end of the year. So interesting. I do still know a couple of people who regularly post on there and still really enjoy the community. So it's definitely not dead yet, but it's very risky at the moment. But this account, which you can follow on X, is called X Daily, and it's the #1 news source on everything X. So basically any updates, any speculation, anything kind of new, any new features, any new wild statements, they will share them. So I would definitely recommend having a look and following the X Daily. I don't think it is run by X themselves. I think it is independent. And you can see there that they are paying for a Twitter Blue account as well. So yeah, interesting. Maybe they get some sort of inside scoop. It does look like X is going to be creating some sort of tier system to its paid for subscription. It looks like this is being tested at the moment, as you can see there on the left. Perhaps we'll see an X basic account and then a plus account with different features and benefits available across all. Is anyone here paying for X? Let me know. I'm interested to know if you have had a good experience from that. Obviously, I shared my negative, you know, didn't really see much from it experience. So always interesting to hear the other side of the story too. But as I keep saying to my clients, just keep watching and keeping an eye on X. We'll see what happens. It's impossible to predict right now. See if your audience is still using it. Keep an eye on your figures. Obviously, a lot of your decisions have to be based on your data and what your audience preferences are. Okay, update number 5 then is, you may have seen it in the news, the online safety bill. So the online safety bill here in the UK gets a lot of press attention at the moment as it's quite controversial. But this is a new set of laws that's almost on its way to becoming approved law. It's very nearly there. But the idea is to protect children and adults online in the UK, making the UK, you know, a safe place to browse the internet. And it's intended to make social media companies more responsible for the safety of their platforms and the safety of their users. So according to the government, the online safety bill is designed to make the UK the safest place in the world to be online by regulating how tech firms should handle harmful content such as child sex abuse imagery, cyberbullying, and misinformation. So you can actually go on the website, which gives you a nice guide to the safety bill and talks about the different types of content that they're looking at tackling. So I'll just put the link in the chat for you there. The plan is that the government is putting Ofcom in charge as the regulator of the platforms. So obviously Ofcom does currently review the safety of all of the broadcast media here in the UK. And the way that that works is people need to complain to Ofcom and then Ofcom will investigate. So that will be the same approach for social media platforms. Firms that are found to break rules for harmful content are going to face large fines. So it'll be really interesting to see who is going to, you know, break these rules first, because I'd imagine there are going to be rules broken, and how much they are fined, because that's of course going to set precedent. Some of the social media platforms have said, you know, if this bill does go ahead, We might even, consider whether we do operate in the UK or not. So that's why it's so controversial. And of course, as well, there's always consideration to be made around freedom of speech and fair speech, etc. So there's lots of difficult debates and conversations happening about that. But I personally think this is a great first step in order to protecting both adults and children online in a better way, and holding the social media firms more accountable to the certain types of content that they do share. I mean, I was just browsing Instagram yesterday and tapped on a hashtag, and suddenly I was seeing nudity and sexual content. So it made me really question, how safe the platform is for younger people. And that hashtag was, a very normal hashtag. It wasn't anything overtly sexualized at all. So it is still rife amongst the social media platforms. So I think something does need to be done. But obviously, everybody has different views about this. How does this affect you as social media managers? Well, I certainly think it's worth just being aware of what the safety bill includes and how this kind of content, if you do see content that shouldn't be allowed based on law, what's advised that you do next? Particularly around things like misinformation, impersonation. I know a lot of businesses suffer from being impersonated when they're running competitions. That is a bit of an Instagram scam at the moment. So having a look when this bill goes live as law, and just double checking what all of those new legislation, what they include and what's intended, so that you're just a bit on top of how you can better protect yourself and your business online as well. So keep an eye out for that in the news over the coming weeks, as I'm sure we'll hear a bit more about that. Okay, so number 6 is the TikTok Billboard Charts. So the Billboard Charts, you may remember, from following pop music and charts, particularly in the US. Big company. They have teamed up with TikTok to create the ultimate TikTok Billboard Top 50. So you can go to the Billboard website, which is billboard.com, and they've just launched this new weekly ranking of the most popular songs on TikTok. Now, this is based in the US, and it's based on creations, video views, and user engagement. So it's quite a fair chart. It's quite a fair calculation of how they do it, and allows you to kind of browse through and see the stats and share the music as well. So it's a nice resource to go and browse, particularly if you're looking at using more trending music on your TikToks. I would still say, though, the commercial music library within TikTok itself is a brilliant resource, because it has pre-cleared music for organic content and ad creation that's available for businesses. So you can go to the commercial music library within the app itself, or you can just search for commercial music library on Google, or you can go into the Creative Center here, which is a free dashboard, and you can browse through the top tracks, the trending tracks. You can go by theme, you can search, you can go by country. So it's just that little bit more intuitive. We don't know exactly how it's calculated. Obviously, TikTok puts this together, so you're never quite sure what they look at based on criteria, but it is really useful just to have a browse through, maybe play the tracks so you're familiar with them, and then you can search for them when you are creating those TikTok tracks, and just add those to your videos. And the idea there is that will help give you a boost in views because you've used some trending music on your tracks. So trend number 7 is new Meta ads tools for the holidays. So for those of you particularly involved in e-commerce, you'll, I'm sure, be thinking about your Christmas campaigns already. If not, you definitely should be. And one of the tools that Meta has just announced is they're actually bringing out a better way to control your budgets over the holidays, so over the Christmas period. This is, of course, typically the most expensive time to run ads across Meta platforms. So if you're running ads on Facebook or Instagram, December, right up until Christmas, you're usually paying, a little extra than what you normally would, definitely sort of 10% more. And so this is a way to perhaps better control your budget. Apologies for the screenshot, it's slightly blurry, but this is all I could manage to muster from Meta's announcement. They're basically adding a new time-based budget scheduling tool, which will enable advertisers to create a higher budget for a campaign within a specific time period. So you set your budget and then you set a high demand period where you can increase your daily budget, for example. So this is great if you're running ads for maybe 2 or 3 weeks during the Christmas period, but perhaps you've identified that over the weekend, you need to get better visibility. So you would maximize your reach over the weekend by increasing your budget here. Perhaps you're spending something like £30 a day on your ads, and maybe at the weekends you go up to 50 or 60. So that would just be a better way to control your budget over the holiday period without needing to run alternative ad sets or kind of stop and start or even manually update your budget at certain times. So I really like that new budget scheduling tool. And I definitely think it will be useful over things like Black Friday and the Christmas period. So look out for that one. Trend number 8 is keyword stuffing in captions. So this is something I've been talking about with a few other social media consultants this week. We're seeing as a whole an increase in people just putting random words at the end of their captions because they know that this is going to help the post seed better in search across the platforms, particularly on Instagram. So hopefully you're familiar that over the last year, a lot of the platforms, particularly Instagram and TikTok, have made their captions searchable. So rather than traditionally it just being the hashtags that help people find your post, it's actually the words and the phrases that you include in your caption that can help people find your content. And even when you go to the Explore tab on Instagram now, you'll see suggested searches appearing at the top of your Explore feed, or when you put the cursor into the search bar, you'll also see suggested words and phrases. So there is a huge focus now on social SEO, and that it has become a really powerful part of the platforms and how people are discovering your content. Some say it's even more important now than hashtags. And I've certainly seen people just putting maybe 5 to 10 random keywords at the end of their caption. Now, this isn't to say it doesn't work, but I don't think that's a great experience to offer people who are reading your captions. I would certainly encourage you as social media managers to try and just include more relevant keywords and search queries into your caption naturally. Not only does this look better, but it allows you to kind of get more creative, perhaps with your wording and your descriptions in your caption. And I do wonder whether social media will go the same way as Google, which for a while SEO practices allowed you to just stuff random keywords, phrases into your website, but Google now penalizes you if you do this. So I'd imagine that the social media platforms will go the same way. So if you're thinking about writing your captions and how best to do that, I think it's worth refreshing ourselves on Instagram's advice on how they help you show up in search. So they actually say that using a fitting handle and profile name will help you to get searched for and found in search, including relevant keywords and locations in your biography also makes you more visible. But the key one here is using relevant keywords and hashtags in your captions. So for a post to be found in search, you need to put keywords and hashtags in the caption, not the comments. So I think that's something really important to note as social media managers, is everything searchable needs to be in the caption. If you're a bit stuck on how to get more keywords into your captions, I definitely recommend playing around with ChatGPT and giving ChatGPT some example captions and then asking it to create some more for you. I think that's a really good way to start to use that AI tool. So hopefully that's shed a little bit of light on SEO. But of course, this is, again, an ever evolving area of social media and something that's becoming, more and more important by the day. I do love an emoji update. So I was really pleased to see that earlier this month, 118 new emojis have been announced. So we've got a lot more emojis representing, various different abilities. We've also got a mushroom emoji, a lime, a phoenix, a broken link, and some more emojis representing different families that are less gender specific, as well as nodding both sideways and nodding up and down. Very, very important. So look out for these updates in the emojis coming usually kind of beginning of the year, so early 2024. And then a bonus update for you all, I do love to chuck in a bonus, is as of yesterday, Meta has actually announced even more AI tools that are coming, particularly across Instagram. I think there's some really interesting ones to do with image and video editing. So Restyle and Backdrop are two new AI tools that are going to allow you to create far more engaging video and photo content within Instagram itself. So it looks like the Restyle will, change up the colors, the filters on your images, and Backdrop is just that really easy green screen creator, but the backdrops will be, more kind of AI generated as well. So I'm really excited to see how they look. And you'll be able to just, ask Instagram to do that for you by voice, which is really, really powerful. So more AI integration coming into social media. And again, another big announcement in the AI landscape is ChatGPT, which I've already mentioned today, will now go back, will not just go up to 2021, which is where ChatGPT data currently cuts off, but will include data up until modern day. So really interesting update there. You'll be able to ask ChatGPT about very current things, which it currently can't tell you about. So do keep an eye out for that update, which is coming imminently. Okay, so I've whizzed everyone through the trends, updates, new features for September. I'm going to open the floor to any questions in just a moment, if you have any. But before I do, I just wanted to flag one of the social platforms, which I haven't really spoken about much today, which seems a shame because it is actually one of my favorites. And there's so much going on this platform right now, and that is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is seeing incredible amounts of engagement and can be a fantastic way for you not only to leverage the community for better engagement, to get your business out there to more people, for recruitment, for also thought leadership, establishing credibility. There are tons of reasons why you could use LinkedIn, but they're seeing record levels of engagement at the moment. And so I'm running a LinkedIn masterclass on the 18th of October. Tickets are £149, and then also you've got a few fees there from Eventbrite. So unfortunately, that does push the ticket price up slightly, and apologies for that. But it's, I promise you, going to be full of social media tips, advice, and tactics that you can implement straight away. We'll be covering both LinkedIn from a company perspective, your company page, groups, advertising, and also we'll be covering LinkedIn from a personal perspective. So enhancing your personal profile, using creator accounts, using some of the new tools around broadcasts on the platform. So it's going to be jam-packed, and I'm really excited to share with you that session. So I'll pop the link into the chat for anybody who wants to go and have a look and find out a bit more about the agenda. That is only going to be on the 18th of October at this stage. It was just something that has been requested from quite a few of our clients. So we're running that on the 18th. We will record it. So anybody who has purchased a ticket can watch the recording, but there's currently no other date options at the moment. So we very much just go based on demand. And as always, if there's something you want to see that we're not offering, feel free to get in touch. And my contact details are just here. So you can email me directly, or you can join our Facebook group, the Avocado Social Media Hub, or you can visit our website, avocadosocial.com, to find out more about what we do. Here's the Facebook group where I will alert everybody when this recording is live on YouTube. You can also come here just to have a chat about any issues you're facing, share any great examples you're seeing, or just to maybe have a moan about social media. It's a very welcoming community. So do come and join and be part of the Avocado Social Media Facebook Hub, which is free on Facebook. So we've just got a few moments now to answer any questions that you might have about anything that we've covered, or anything that you're just pondering over in the social media landscape. So I can see there is a question from Emma. Hi, Emma. Nice to have you with us today. Will the ChatGPT up-to-date data be on the free version or the paid version? That is an excellent question. I must admit, I'm not sure, but I'm going to find out the answer right now, because that is something I really want to know too. Obviously, the paid for version, which is $20 a month, does give you some benefits. So you can jump to the front of the queue. You're never kind of kicked off ChatGPT if they are having busy server times. And also, there's a few extra features that they do offer you. So it looks like it's going to be for premium users. So unfortunately, that is another reason why it could be worth upgrading to the premium ChatGPT. So yeah, looks like they've done a clever little move there, giving a great new feature as paid only. And this seems to be a pattern, right, amongst social media tools now, with all of these premium features coming out for paying users. So maybe this is the way things are going. Just while I've got everybody here, I will be doing my annual social media trends talk in December, as I do every year. I predict the big trends coming for 2024, which I've already, got a few inklings around what I think we're going to see more of next year. That is a free event, which you can all sign up to, and I'll pop the link to that in the chat in just a second. If you do have another question, we've got a few more minutes, so do let me know while I just find this link. So social media trends for 2024 is on the 14th of December. You can always sign up to our workshops or see what other trend updates are coming on this link that I've just shared, which is avocadosocial.com/workshops. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any other questions for today, but as always, you're very welcome to email me or get in touch via our Facebook group or LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever you choose. Wishing you the very best rest of your week, and look forward to seeing you all on the October social media trends update in just a month's time. Hopefully this was useful. Always great to hear your feedback if you do want to drop me a line. And yeah, catch you all soon. Take care.